Here is Rhododendron canescens, one of our native azaleas. As you can see, it's in full bloom and has a pale pink flower. The flowers themselves are fairly distinct. They have a dark rose bud, rose-colored bud that opens up to a pale pink flower. You can see these greatly exserted stamens. This is in the family Ericaceae, but this flower structure is different from the companionate flowers of many other things in the Ericaceae in our area, such as Vaccinium and Galisacea. The general architecture of this shrub is not particularly distinct, just a multi-stem shrub with various age stems coming up from the base. The bark itself is not particularly distinctive. The only really distinct feature on the stems is that on some of these younger stems there are some vertical striations in the bark. This is similar to an azalea that might grow in your own yard. When rhododendrons are not in flower, they can be particularly difficult to identify. Here is a leaf of Rhododendron canescens, and again it has the classic coastal plain leaf-shaped leaf. You won't be able to see it in this video, but this leaf has some tiny ciliate margins, tiny hairs on the margins. That can be helpful to distinguish them from some of the other species. But in general, without flowers, they can be tough to tell apart. Our deciduous rhododendrons are difficult to identify to species without flowers and fruits. They're even more difficult when there aren't any leaves. However, the buds are fairly distinct, and we can usually at least tell that it is a rhododendron in the wintertime based on these buds at the tips of the twigs. You can see here there's some very distinct overlapping imbricate bud scales, and that lets us know that this is a rhododendron. This particular one is a Rhododendron viscosum. However, it would be difficult to tell that from these buds alone.